Guess what?
Are we live?
I think we're live and running on Facebook. I think everybody can see us now. Good morning, Facebook world.
Good morning.
Can you believe it? And then I'm just gonna hit start here in a second as soon as I see the video popping up here. Then we'll hit record. I hope everybody's doing well out there. Let's see, where is the video? How come the video is not showing up? It should be. Let's refresh the page here. Make sure the video is coming up so that all the world can see us in our glory. There it is. We are up and live. All right, so I'm going to hit record on Audacity so we have the audio version and we can rock and roll. Good morning, everybody. It is December 1st, last month of the year, Mr. Neil Portnoy.
30 days, that's September, April, June, and November. Oh yeah, we have 31 days.
31 days in December. We had 30 in November.
So today's the 1st of December?
December 1. 3 days till Christmas Eve. Time is flying. Time is flying by.
Listen, I have a Christmas tree in my house.
Yes.
And a menorah.
Well, listen, we want to cover all bases. That's a good thing.
And you're wearing the shirt today, which will help us.
Yes, this is to honor those that were slain at the Pittsburgh synagogue a while back. This is
nice.
Yes.
Nice.
So, not that I'm a Pittsburgh fan in terms of football, but I am a person fan. So, all support. Right?
Tremendous. I love it. Love it. Love it.
So how you feeling this week? You sound better.
I feel a little better. I'm still a little nasaled, which is probably good for radio and good for audio, I should say. Look, it's been a great week. We're almost through 2018.
No, can you believe it?
Our condolences go out to the Bush family. We lost another president.
HW.
And listen, I don't know if you knew this, but he captained Yale baseball.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did during the first ever two College World Series games, right?
Correct. And you know, being a baseball guy, I really didn't know that. I read it this morning in the RJ.
Right.
The stuff this man has done or did in his career.
Right.
And an interesting fact, he did not want to do a memoirs type book.
Right. Which most presidents do.
He said, look, history will tell you who I am and who I was and all that good stuff. But his son wrote a book and he called it, 50, 40, I don't know.
Somebody asked 41st.
Somebody asked me how many presidents. I don't know, Heinz 57. How the hell do I know?
Well, Trump is 45, I believe.
Okay.
And George H.W. Bush was 41. It's the 41st.
But a great man.
Yeah.
No matter what side of the aisle you lean on.
Exactly.
He'll go down in history with all of the positions he held in the public-private sector.
Mm-hmm.
A pretty amazing man.
Yeah, and of course, you know, his wife Barbara was also very, I won't say influential, but she was also a public figure during HW's time as president. She was involved. And a lot of I guess the first ladies have always been prominent in the public figure for the most part when their spouses have become presidents, which is a nice trend to see them be as active as they are. This go around, and not trying to be political, but it seems like Ivana's having a little trouble getting her feet situated in the public eye as well, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, she went from last year, 2 dark criticisms for her Christmas decorations to this year with the red trees going, what is she doing? Yet my wife and I were talking about it last night, and she said, my wife Dorothy, who is a designer in her own way, said she's got an incredible design skill, and that it looked beautiful. What do I know? I'm a Jewish guy from New England.
Yeah, we don't know that stuff. Want to say hello to everybody who's in the Facebook chat room for checking us out. We appreciate you joining us this morning. If you would be so kind as to reshare our video to others. Hey, we may be on location. Can I just share something? I'm going to share something.
Absolutely.
Those who know my history, flat track roller derby was something that Ricky Cash and I were involved with years and years ago, the Sin City Roller Girls. A couple of First Fridays ago, I think it was back in September, my wife and I were roaming around at First Friday, and I came across a new table of roller derby gals, and they are called the Atomic Roller Girls. Not affiliated with the Sin City Roller Girls, a different league, so to speak.
They're here in Vegas?
They are here in Vegas. They have teams, and they play, and they travel.
Where do they play?
Well, they play at a place called the Fallout Shelter, 3600 West.
Can you call it playing? I mean, really?
Actually, they're called bouts.
Bouts?
Yes, they are bouts.
All right, good.
Right? Just like a soccer field is called a pitch. They always have these different terminologies in sports. But yeah, it's a roller derby bout. Although this is more of like going to be a scrimmage because it's the Atomic Roller Girls team split up into 2 teams. But the purpose of this, they actually have a fundraiser that they're doing on the 15th. And you and I are actually doing a remote next Saturday from their practice facility to help. And we're going to meet some of the gals and the kids.
Do we get to lace them up?
We could. Do you have skates?
No.
I have skates at home. I might. I think they ought to do like a workout session, like going to the gym, skate for exercise programs.
I'm sure it's tremendous exercise.
Oh,
I mean, your leg muscles and
cardio,
and.
But it hurts falling down when you get like clothesline.
Do they have like breaks?
It's called the wall. You just stop
All
right
these
before
new terminology terms.
So Atomic Roller Girls present the 2nd annual Kringle versus Krampus fundraising bout. Saturday, December 15th at 7 p.m. Doors will open at 6:30. The location, as I said, is the Fallout Shelter, 3600 West Okenda Road. That's down by where they're building a new Raiders Stadium, down that general direction.
Okay.
And the event benefactor is the Nevada Childhood Cancer Foundation.
Great organization.
Being raised. And because of the support we're giving them, they're actually putting our logo in their playbill program for that night.
Do we have a logo? Oh, it's on
the front. Yes,
there
it's on there. Those of you watching on Facebook, you can see the manually manufactured logo. I will go to skin it. We'll produce a new one for the front there. So yeah, so I'm working out for you and I next Saturday, the 8th, a week ahead of the event, to actually be there from 11 to 12. They hold their practice.
Are we signing autographs? I mean, they sign autographs.
We could.
Yeah,
you have headshots you can bring? You could draw your own headshot.
And I have headshots.
So do I. I'll bring some down, just in case.
Why not?
If for nothing else, for our own vanity.
Well, vanity is the reason I'm still in business. If it wasn't for vanity, I'd be out of business.
So yeah, so we may be on site next Saturday. I just have to work out the details with Candy Hammer Fisher. She is.
Do they all have nicknames?
Oh, yes, they do.
Well, give me some of them.
I didn't get the roster yet because I'm supposed to participate on the 15th to help be the announcer at the track.
How many skaters are on a roster? How many? I mean, baseball's got X amount.
Right. That's a good question. I'm trying to remember. I think on the track, you have 6 or 7 on the track at one time.
Do they call it a track or an oval? What do they call it?
I think they call it a track.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
It shows you how much you know about roller derby. I'm gonna have to brush up in the next 2 weeks because you're expecting me to be part of the play-by-play. Hi, Shoshana. Good to see you. Rahid's out there. Barry's out there. Roger, Brittany, Kelly, Decker's out there. Dawn, everybody's out there watching to see what we have to say today. So there'll be more news on that. So we'll be at our hopefully approximate regular time.
Put it on your calendars.
Yes.
Why don't you refresh and tell us where, when,
absolutely.
all that good stuff.
The event itself is December 15th, 7 p.m. Doors will open at 6:30. The Fallout Shelter, 3600 West Okendo Road. Benefit the Nevada Childhood Cancer Foundation. So it's a good cause, and that's why I thought it would be good for twin brothers from different mothers to just go down and say hello.
Is there an admission to get in, any fee?
I believe there is. Unfortunately, Hammer did not include it on here, but if you look them up online at atomicrollergirls.com, I'm sure all the information is
One more time on that, Earl?
You know what?
That Earl,
The
URL.
Earl, I knew Earl.
Earl, yeah.
atomicrollergirls.org. Atomic Roller Girls, because they actually are 501c3.
Everybody is.
So everything they raise this way they can donate, and any contributions they receive for themselves is a charitable contribution. Also, too, I want to mention, if you guys didn't see it on Facebook, they've got a twofer of twin brothers from different mothers this weekend.
We're doing it tomorrow, too.
That's right. We're doing another act tomorrow. Tomorrow, though, is going to be especially themed. Because, we're entering that holiday season. We've been in it really since Thanksgiving. Actually, if you go into stores, we've been in the holiday season since September, but that's a whole nother story.
Since Easter, I think.
Exactly. But the stress and depression seems to kick in during this time of year as people look forward to Christmas and New Year's and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, whatever holiday you celebrate.
Speaking of depression, and I don't mean to sidebar this,
no
but
worries.
I went into, now that I'm on a new insurance plan, I went into my doctor who's actually on the plan.
Well, that's good.
And we went over stuff, and he goes, you're 65 years old now, your testosterone level is low. And I went, well, my libido's pretty good. How can I be low? And he said, what most people at your age are doing now is they're taking testosterone shots.
Yes, I've done that.
I did it for the first time. It's turn around, bend over, and
say hello to my friend.
Yeah, say hello to my little friend. But now I got to do it every week.
Correct.
And I don't like needles to begin with.
Right.
But he said, look, you do it for 3 weeks. We'll do an evaluation. If you give blood once a month, which is a great thing to do,
Right, absolutely.
your levels will all be, I don't know how the hell I got to this sidebar, but you mentioned something and now I'm on testosterone.
Yeah, the manly thing, I guess.
When the hell did I get old?
I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, I look at myself, I don't see 54. But I have a story about the testosterone.
You're gonna look like this at 65.
Yeah, that's right. This is my future in
Right.
10 years right here. I also used to take the shots. I didn't do them myself. I went to my endocrinologist. They were kind enough to do them for me. But after losing all the weight that I've lost, with
Sure.
less padding back there,
Sure.
it hurt like a you-know-what.
I didn't feel it at all.
So I usually didn't. But with no meat back there, and it's mostly just muscle and bone, it hurts. So now I'm on gel. So you don't have to do shots. They have a testosterone gel.
My insurance plan is covering all of the shot stuff.
Okay, so did mine.
But he said to me, if you go to the pill, because you can do a pill,
Yes, you can.
it's too expensive, and
You
they
can
won't cover.
No, that is true. It is very expensive. And I also had testosterone pellets put in once. I tried pellets. They're like little grains of rice. They slice your butt open just, on the surface. This pellet is like a 3-month supply that stays in your butt. And every 3 months you go back and get a new pellet put in. That worked for a while and then I had enough of that.
I'm creating a visual that I do not like.
Would you like your bun sliced with your hot dog, sir? I mean, that's kind of what I felt like. One time they didn't give me enough Novocaine. Oh.
That's the old, we're gonna break for commercial, we'll be back.
No, yeah.
Details at 11.
Right, exactly. But we started on this because of tomorrow. But right, exactly.
Right.
But tomorrow for the depression. That's how we segue.
There you go.
Terrible segue, but we got there somehow. Tomorrow's show is going to be again catered more towards the depression and things, and why we get depressed at this time of year.
No, we have a guest tomorrow.
Absolutely. Eileen Jacobson, she's a practicing counselor. She's a master level counselor. She's experienced in working with physically and mentally challenged, hypnotherapist, Reiki, and emotional freedom therapy practitioner.
Her business card must be
Size of a
horizontal.
book.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
So she will join us tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. tomorrow. Special day. We're not always going to do 2 shows a week, but this one works out because Eileen was not available today to join us.
Mhm.
So, you know what? You and I have nothing to do on Sundays.
We have a guest in the studio here today.
Yes, we do. We have someone that is roaming around the studio.
Don't worry what, he's
I
around.
think he's up front taking pictures of everything.
Okay.
So, but anyway, all right, so we got the holidays coming up. Now, do you have any special traditions for the holidays? I mean, Hanukkah starts, the first light I think is Monday night or Tuesday night into Monday or Sunday night into Monday. You and Dorothy have any special traditions?
The only tradition we have, which when we first got together, is we put the Christmas tree up and we got the menorah. That's really the only, listen, when you're 3,000 miles away from
Right.
where you grew up, and you don't really know, that type of clique of friends, it's just another day.
That's true. You know what? I mean, when my girls reached 13, when I was 13, the presents stopped. You used to get presents every day at Hanukkah when you were little, and then you become bar mitzvah at 13. That was the magic number when it all stopped, and you got one basic gift the first night, and then the rest of the nights were just like you just said, just lighting candles and any other day of the week.
Do you know, I learned, my doctor is Jewish.
Okay.
I think he's Israeli, I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
But he mentioned to me that in Israel, they don't give gifts on the 8 nights. That's an American thing that gets started here. They don't do it in Israel.
Well, I didn't know that.
Well, see, you learn something new every day. There it is.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I remember when I was growing up, all my friends who were not Jewish, they were jealous of me getting gifts 8 days rather than Christmas, which is just 1. But then I reminded them they probably got 8 presents on one day.
Correct.
When we got 8, each day. So, but yeah, the tradition. I mean, Hanukkah is always about potato latkes. You like potato latkes?
I love potato.
Do you do
latkes.
applesauce or sour cream?
Sour cream.
Do you really?
Yep.
I do.
Yep.
What applesauce?
I'm not an apple person.
Yeah, but it's applesauce.
Although I went to the Bagel Cafe the other day and got a Hamantaschen with mun. Do you remember it being called mun?
Not at all.
Well, there must be a New
Well,
England thing.
why is it Hamantaschen now that it's not Purim? Hamantaschen usually comes out on Purim in springtime.
Yeah, well, they were there, and it's the poppy seeds.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it's not as good as it was back east, but it was still good. But, I want them to fill the whole thing because I used to call it mun. I don't know where that term, maybe it's a Yiddish term, I'm not quite sure. But you eat one of those and you cannot take a drug test.
Oh, it's got that much poppy on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how poppy seeds are dangerous for drug tests. They're just seeds.
Well, I don't know.
Does that mean you could scrape them off a bagel and smoke them?
Well, here it's legal, so yes.
That's true. Hey, by the way, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but over our shoulder, no disrespect to Kanye, but we have a much better visual right behind us. You put up,
I put Marilyn up behind us.
Yes.
Maybe it's some significance. I don't know.
I don't know, she's gorgeous though. You did a great job. Everything you do in here is great.
All magic markers.
That's right. That's crazy. So why don't you talk about, because you have a project going on with the great Bronx Wanderers. I wish my mouth was working with my brain. Why don't you talk about what you got available for them?
Well, the Bronx Wanderers, for those of you out there that don't know, you're living in a cave. They are playing 6 nights a week at Bally's showroom upstairs. It's just a great story. The band has become friends of Dorothy and mine. Vinny, Nikki, great story. Father worked in the music industry for a number of years, booking major talent, and he grew up in the Bronx. His son Vinny and his younger son Nick started playing and got into the music field. One's a guitarist, a keyboard player, Vinny, and Nicky's a drummer. And friends of Vinny, the father, said, you should go on the road with the kids.
I just like the way you said Vinny the Father. It's like Vinny the Father.
Well, it's part of their show. They do this video thing with the, the old, what was that TV show called?
Which one? There's only been a few.
He passed away, Garofino, what was that
show?
Oh,
you're talking about, Jim Gallagher, yes.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of the show all of a sudden. That doesn't matter.
It'll come. The Sopranos.
Sopranos, right. So they do this big video thing, but they went on the road when Vinny Jr. was 14 and Nicky was 11, and they started playing all over the country.
Right.
And they drew a huge fan base. So now, Vinny, the father, his goal was to get to Vegas, be on the Strip.
Sure.
And they've been there 2 years now. It's sold out almost every night. They do doo-wop and top 40, and it's just, in my opinion, one of the best shows in Las Vegas. So I talked to them about doing an illustration. I actually did a caricature of Vinny for his 60th birthday, presented it to him on stage. And then I did Vinny, and then I said, well, Nicky, the drummer's the only one left. I did all 3 of them, and then I put them all together in a design called the Bronx Wanderers, which is now being offered at www.idrawpeople.com, the website, as a limited edition 18 by 24 lithograph, hand numbered and signed by me.
Right.
Only printing 100 of them. And
very limited edition.
And then signed by all 3 members of the band.
Wow.
The second edition is an 18 by 24 open edition with a hand stamped signature.
Okay.
And the third one is an 11/17 print, which they'll sell at the shows. So it's being marketed for the fans of the Bronx Wanderers, new undertaking from Portnoy Gallery, and we're just trying to get the work out there.
Absolutely. I think it's great. And folks can go onto idrawpeople.com, your site.
They can pull down the menu of artwork, and you'll see the Bronx Wanderers limited edition print for sale.
Do it, folks, because it's, first of all, if you don't know what to get someone for the holidays, what a great gift. Here's an idea for you. Just like what you do with the pet series. I mean, that's another great idea. If you love your pets and anything, you started a pet series.
Portnoy Pets, a little alliteration.
Yeah, the pee-pee?
The pee-pee.
The pee-pee.
I like the bud stories better.
Why don't you get this way? You can get your hashtag Have You Been Portnoy for your animal.
That's right.
For your pet and pets.
Pets.
Those still living and those that have crossed the rainbow. As long as you have pictures, you're good to go, right?
It's amazing. For years I was known as a Sports Illustrated curse. I would do an athlete, and the following year he'd break a leg or get traded.
Oh, that's kind of like the Madden curse of who's covering the game.
Well, the SI curse. So now, I don't want to put this out there, but look, if I do you petty, may not last long.
Oh, no, don't say that.
Right,
that's terrible. That would be terrible. No, but it'll last forever. Think about it. The pet or pets will actually now last forever.
I've done a number of them where people now have them hanging over their fireplace or in a room, on a wall, and they always get to see the pet that's crossed the room.
Absolutely. It's crazy. So all great ideas. So you can contact Neil down here at the gallery, idrawpeople.com. And if you're coming to Vegas just for a visit and a shout, like we know over Christmas and New Year's especially, we're going to see about, 300,000 people come into town. Almost, we had that over Thanksgiving, supposedly.
It's unbelievable. And there was an article again in the RJ this morning where Las Vegas is now becoming not only the entertainment capital of the world,
right,
but the sports capital of the world.
Yeah, why not, right? I mean, you got just about everything here that you need. for sports.
So why the hell did I move to Vegas? I do entertainment, I do sports, and
Better
it's
weather.
happening.
Better weather.
Oh, the weather is. You know, I check on a daily basis. I don't know if you do this.
I do.
What's the weather back east? You know, I'm waiting for that first major snowfall where I can call my buddy and go, look, I hope I'm not interrupting anything. You done snowballing? I just wanted to
That's
talk
right.
to you.
That's right. We have to shovel the sunshine out here. So, yeah, I mean, well, right before Thanksgiving in New Jersey, where I was born and raised, my sister still lives there with her family. They had like 5 to 8 inches that week. Right before. Now it was
That's
gone
great.
the next day.
Well, how about this week? We had rain.
Yeah, we had a crazy rainy day the other day, Wednesday. I think
And
it was.
people like freaking out, like how to
Upstairs.
drive.
Yeah.
It's rain, people.
Well, let me tell you what I've learned in the years here, and hopefully you've never experienced it.
The oil on the road, yeah.
I'd rather drive on black ice in the snow because at least you can see it, you know it's there.
Right.
But because of the heat, what people don't realize is all the oils and stuff come up from the tar from the summertime. Now you add a little water to it, you don't see it, you don't know that slick is there, and that's what even I have to admit. The way I drive, even I slow down a little bit when it comes to the rain because you just don't know.
You don't know. Yeah.
You know, so
I have yet to experience the major rain thing we get here. They call it
the monsoons.
the monsoon. I mean,
Yeah, this past year really wasn't so terrible. I mean, we had a couple of heavy days, but not like the real monsoons we've gotten in the past.
what's it like? I haven't seen it yet.
Well, you know, if you think of Charleston as it goes under the bridge right before Main Street,
Yep.
that big dip,
Sure.
that becomes a swimming pool. Everything you
How
can't.
long does it last?
Well, rains like that in that area, the puddles and the deepness could last a good couple of hours till it runs off. I mean, it's crazy.
The downpour, how long does that last?
Oh, it's funny. The downpour is almost like Florida. Like, just wait 5 minutes and it'll stop. But when it comes down in that sheet of rain, it comes down.
I gotta tell you, I was driving home from the gallery, and I live up in Summerlin like you do. And I'm driving up on 95 and getting off on the Summerlin part, and I made that turn. And up by the mountains, I've never seen this in my lifetime. There was a wall of clouds.
Yeah.
I mean, like a wall.
Could you see the mountains?
No.
No. Yeah,
No.
I saw that the other day too.
And I'm like, wow, look at the,
That's right.
unbelievable.
Right. It was Thursday, now that I think about it, because my wife Eileen and my daughter Alyssa took a bus ride down to visit my in-laws down in Arizona. And I remember driving home in the afternoon, and I looked to my left to the west as I was heading north to come home, and I could not see the mountains. And when I stopped at a red light, hint, hint, I sent a quick picture to my wife saying, can't even see the mountains. That was crazy. But it gets
It was
that way.
literally a wall of clouds.
Yeah, you could not see the mountains. It's crazy. And then wait till you see the snow. When it's cold enough to snow in the mountains up there.
Yeah.
Like it'll rain down here in the valley, but if it's cold enough the next day, you'll see all the white on the top of the mountain. Which is a nice
Sky Canyon and all that stuff.
Lee
up
Canyon
on-
and all that
right.
stuff. Yeah.
They've got snow already.
Yes.
People are skiing.
That's crazy.
An hour away from us, they're skiing.
That's right. People don't realize we have a lot of great skiing and winter sports here. You know, there's great tobogganing and sledding and all that, and people love just walking in the trails up there. Think about this. I did this a long time with Eileen and my girls many years ago. We drove up. It was in February. We drove up to the mountain.
Sure.
Snow. We were bundled like we used to be back east. Gloves, hats, jackets. You know, parked in one of the areas we were allowed to park. Jumped out. Parked a car in the snowbank.
In the Harvard Yard.
In the Harvard Yard. And we jumped out and spent an hour playing in the snow, snowball fights, angels, the whole thing. We were soaked. Then as we left, got back in the car, as we're going back down the mountain, I'm watching the thermostat on my car start going. We're driving, peeling off the layers. I got down, by the time I got home, I was down to my shorts and tank top that I had as my first layer, because when we hit the valley, it was 60 degrees in February. Instead of going home to have hot chocolate, we had iced tea. It was crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
You know, being a former athlete, we've talked about
Yep.
this in the past, people back east used to say to me all the time, don't you play any winter sports? And I looked at them one day and I said, you didn't realize I was a biathlete? I shoveled, I snowblowed, I retired.
That's right. When I moved out of Jersey, I put my gloves, my winter jacket, my snow shovels, I just set them flame because I never go.
I still have my ice scraper in the car.
Do you really?
I do, you know, because when I first moved here, my neighbor Sharon Gainsbourg, who's a world-renowned sculptor, she said, oh yeah, you have yet to experience the Las Vegas summer. And I looked at her and said,
You didn't take out the ice scraper.
no, funny story, but I looked at her and said, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. When it hits 1:15,
Okay.
I'm gonna go out to my car, get my ice scraper and do your windows. And she looked at me and started to laugh. the heat does not bother me here.
It doesn't. People fail to realize, oh my God, it's 115, it's 120. But with only like what, 20% humidity, I'll take that any day
But
of the week.
listen, you work in air conditioning, you drive in
That's
air
right.
conditioning,
As
you
long as
live in air conditioning.
As long as the pool stay wet.
That's right. And the funny thing is, speaking of the pool, like when we go out to our pool in our backyard, and it could be 110 degrees out, when you pop up out of the water,
Right. It's chilly.
you're chilly.
Yeah, we were
Crazy.
at your pool before the summer ended, and the way the sun comes down over your house, about 3/4 of the pool by like 4 in the afternoon is in the
Right.
shade. It was a little George Costanza-ish at that point, you know, for those who know what I'm referencing.
Hey, happy
amongst us.
Festivus.
Yeah, happy Festivus. By the way, a bunch of people joined us here in the, by the way, your significant other, Miss Dorothy, is out there in the Facebook world. So,
Hi, honey, I hope you're feeling better.
yeah, same here. Sandy, Pete, my cousin Peter from Washington is watching. Brian Hardy, Fred Schultz from Positively Kids is watching. Amanda Morag is watching. Marisol Lopez is watching. Thank you all. Please reshare our feed and let your friends know what we've got going on here.
Do we know those people? Or?
I know most of them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at names I don't know.
Yeah, that's all right. You'll get to know
Okay.
you. They'll get to know you.
Hey, we have a visitor in the gallery. Can I bring that up?
Sure.
Bob Noxon. Bob and I connected probably a couple of years ago, Bob, right? Bob's involved. He's an entrepreneur extraordinaire. You got to meet the person. You've got to talk with him. You've got to fill out a lot of different areas that he has put his energy towards. One of which is cryptocurrency, which a lot of us don't understand.
Is that from Superman's homeworld?
Well, it is. Well, that's, I think, where it started.
All right. Is that why the coins are green?
Well, I don't know. Can we get Stan Lee in it? He's gone. Never mind.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. So
That wouldn't work. But Dorothy and I have invested to a small degree into cryptocurrency and just feeling our way through the understanding of what it is, because that's the key, what it is. There are a lot of merchants which now accept it as payment for a lot of products and services. And that network is growing crazy. Listen, it's here to stay. There are a lot of different companies from OneCoin, which I'm a purchaser of, to the standard. Do you have this coin or that coin or this coin or that coin? But it is increasing in value. It's like a stock in many ways, where it splits or it increases in your small investments. Look, it's not my strength. I don't understand it totally, but you become stronger by associating yourself with people like Bob Noxon, who gets it, can explain it to you. That's just one thing the man's involved with. He's involved with a program of building energy efficient hurricane, earthquake, rain proof structures at a ridiculously inexpensive way to have home ownership that benefits our military, our veterans. So if you need more information, you can private message myself or Aaron, or contact on Facebook Bob Noxon, Noxon. Frontwards, backwards, it says the same
Yeah, what
word.
do they call those words?
Upside down. And upside down.
And upside down, Bob's
Upside
saying
down.
to us, yeah.
It's called a palindrome.
That's true.
So
What is it
I
called?
A palindrome.
Palindrome.
mean,
That's
a palindrome,
when the word's the same that goes back and forth.
like to buy a vowel.
Like radar. Radar is a
Noon
palindrome.
is another one. Yeah, radar, noon. Yeah.
So
Mom.
we
Wow.
love when we get guests in during the live podcast.
Right.
And Bob's an interesting person. He's part of a number of our networking groups here in Vegas, because Vegas is all about networking and partnering with other organizations to grow your own networking, your own organization. So just wanted to mention that for Bob, who's here in the gallery, and he's got an event coming up, and I believe the 22nd through the 24th.
21st, 22nd, 23rd.
There you go, of December, where people from all over the world are coming to Vegas to talk about cryptocurrency, to talk about the people, suppliers, buyers, etc., in that network, and how it's really, you know, like a Tesla, it's the way to go for the future.
Must you use that word with me in the room?
I
Really? Did you purposely do that?
I did. I wasn't going to look to my right. My
yeah,
son,
because I have the controller here for your mic. I can just
thanks,
turn it
thanks.
off.
My son Jake, who lives in Colorado, just got
Yes.
a Model 3 Tesla.
Yes, he did.
And loving it. He said, "Dad, this thing is." So I mean,
I'd be curious to know. Please ask him this when you next time you speak to him, if the colder weather is affecting his car at all.
I will. I will ask
I'm
him
curious.
that, and I hope he's not watching. But I have a reason for that, because I just sent out a Hanukkah gift, and it's related to Tesla.
Uh-oh.
I mean, what do you get somebody who's got everything in the world, other than a Portnoy drawing? But
yes.
he's already got those too. He's already got those too. But I went online, and I'll tell you off air what I got him, and you'll get a picture.
What's it? And you said it's Tesla related?
Oh, it's definitely Tesla related.
Gotcha.
You know, I
Gotcha.
couldn't buy the console or listen, the kid already, I know him.
He probably loaded the thing.
He
right?
loaded this thing.
Yeah, and I know what those, because I spend time on the inside of Tesla, and if he got everything in there, he's got a heck of a car.
Oh, he's got an unbelievable machine.
Yeah, it's a computer on wheels. That's really all that a Tesla vehicle is. When you think about what it can do, how it does it. I mean, think about driving a car with.
Yeah, but you don't have to drive it. It drives itself.
That's what I mean. I mean, growing up as a kid, I remember my parents used to always say, when you go someplace so often, oh, I've been there so often, the car can practically drive itself there. Well, guess what? It can drive you there now with the Tesla.
He said it's crazy.
It is.
It's
Absolutely.
crazy.
But you still have to be aware. Even though you put on autopilot, you still have to have your hands on the wheel in case, God forbid, you need to make
I bought a new car this week, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I saw it out there. Another
Well,
box.
There's a reason for this.
Okay.
Let me get into it a
You
little
got
bit.
tired of the green,
No, well, my wife Dorothy was a little mini accident here coming into the gallery.
right?
Guy, she hit.
Did she ever get her car back, by the way?
Yeah, she's got it back.
Oh, she's got it
And
back.
it looks brand new.
Okay.
And I was jealous. So I went out and bought a new car.
There you go.
And you know what? I test drove a nice Mercedes. It was a 2016. Really, it had 19,000 miles on it. It was a really sweet car. It was the GL 250, I guess, which is like a crossover type vehicle. It was a bright blue, which for me works.
Like your shirt?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. I felt bad. I had to wear the color of the car. But I didn't purchase it because the technology, the screen, the electric, it wasn't touchscreen. So I don't know when Mercedes, because Bob, you drive a Mercedes. I don't know when they went to a touchscreen.
I don't either. Mine's older. I have 170,000 miles.
You have
on it now.
170,000 miles. It looks brand new.
That was just today.
It looks brand new.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I didn't purchase it, and I, for those of you who know me, I drove a 2014. I felt that I fit an outdoor patio. This car, you could put everything. It gets 34 miles to a gallon, drives like a little sports car. So after not doing the deal for the Mercedes, I drove away in my Kia Soul, and I went, "What the hell are you doing? You love this car."
Does it have a touch screen?
It's got a touch screen. I've got the top line Kia Soul Exclaim. It's a turbo, which for me is like, oh baby, let's go.
Yeah.
It's got the leather interior. It's got this is a top line Kia Soul.
I do not buy leather out in Vegas. Not for the summer.
Well, you know what? It's my wife brought up a good point. She said it's got heated seats. Does it have cooling seats? It does not. Does a Tesla have cooling seats?
I don't know if such
I
a
don't
thing
know.
exists.
No, it does. It does exist.
exist.
It does
Yeah.
exist. Yeah. So, but you know, then I got lambasted by Bob because he said to me, "Oh, you could have bought the car with your cryptocurrency," and I went, "I didn't know that." Listen, if you've ever had any inclination about what cryptocurrency is, whether you should get into the market, how it works, I strongly urge you to reach out to Bob Noxon. He is on Facebook. He is on social media. He's not on Facebook. He's not on social media.
Yeah.
So,
By the way, are you sending him a bill for all this mentioning and publicity and
well,
everything?
listen, we try to help people, and then when we become,
But he's rich apparently if he's in cryptocurrency.
I am, but I just hooked him up with a guy who's in front of 1,400,000
Yeah, I'm going to be in
people.
front
and
of
He's gonna,
1.4 million people in
Alright.
this whole thing. So
he's gonna be rich.
Speaking of events, if you don't mind, I'm going to go back to talking about the roller derby thing again
Sure,
real
go ahead.
quickly.
Roll derby.
December 15th, the Atomic Roller Girls will be presenting their second annual Kringle versus Krampus fundraising bout. It'll be at the Fallout Shelter, 3600 West Okendo Road, benefiting the Nevada Childhood Cancer Foundation. And yours truly is scheduled, card subject to change, to actually be there to help with the PA announcing of the event, supposedly. That's what they told
Have
me.
you ever done that before?
Yeah, I did with the Sin City roller.
She
Girls.
moves to her left, she goes to the right. She's down.
It's funny
What would you
because
say?
well, in a way, yes, but when I did it with Sin City Roller Girls, they had a lot of parameters of what the PA person can say because you don't want to tip off the other team that so and so's coming up on the right side or this one's going on the left for the breaker or the blocker or this. So it is kind of hard because you kind of have to temper what you say.
They wear headgear, correct?
They do have.
Do they have the thing like in football where
No,
the
they don't.
coach could call
The coach stands in the middle of the oval
Really?
and they're yelling out plays and like.
See, it's an oval. You called it
I
an
did,
oval.
yes, but it's also called a track. But I think oval. You are right. I think it is the most common
I am
reference.
correct because right's the direction. But go ahead.
But Hammer, Candy Fisher, she explained to me that they're not as concerned about what the PA says because they're so focused on what's going on in front of them and listen to the coaches that they really don't hear what's going on in the PA.
Do they have like little mirrors like cars do where you can see behind you that the subjects look bigger than they actually are?
No, they don't. I don't think you'd want that if you've got a big blocker coming around you. I don't think
They're
you want
big girls,
to-
correct?
Yes, they are. They're not tiny. But you want a smaller.
To squeeze
what do
in
they
between
call it?
everybody.
The person who's out in front that everybody's
Right.
blocking for, it escapes me the name of that position, but that's the scorer person. Then you got the lead person who's out in front that's got to go around, get past all the
And
blockers.
that's how you score it in the
Correct.
sport. Okay.
That person is generally more quicker, a little faster on the skates than the blockers would be, or the defenders, or whatever terminology you want to use. But yeah, that should be fun to go see. So supposedly I'm supposed to be hooked up with their regular PA person, and I'm going to get a quick indoctrination refresher course for my days doing the Sin City Roller Girls, and we'll go out there and have some fun.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Do they have periods,
Yes.
halves?
They're called. They're called. Well,
I'm asking you all these questions.
Yeah, I know,
about your
I know.
refresher course.
I know.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I want to say that they're halves. I believe it's 2 halves.
20-minute halves?
Not that. Is it
It's the jammer.
the jammer? Thank you very much. I couldn't come up with that if you. asked
they
me.
wear
You're a
jammies?
fan of roller derby?
No, he had
I
Google.
looked it
He's a
up.
fan of
Oh, you
Google.
Googled it, all right,
Jammer,
thank
thank you.
I used to know. I watched it a long
Yeah,
time ago.
I used to watch it back
Really
east
fun.
too. I mean, it was Sunday mornings or Saturday mornings. The New York men's team. They were on a
And
bank
had women
track.
on.
What's that?
They had women on TV.
They had the
all
women
time,
too, but they were on a bank. They were on a banked track.
Banked
It's not
track.
Oh,
flat track.
this was not
This is
bank?
flat.
See,
This is
all
flat.
I know is the bank track.
Yeah, because I remember
They
watching
go faster on the bank
this-
track.
Exactly. I remember the skaters being dumped over the railing,
Yeah.
and then powder fights in the middle when they get.
Yeah, they don't have any of that.
No, it's a flat track, and I've not seen a brawl break out where powder goes flying. I haven't seen one. Maybe I'll start one on the 15th.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, why not? I'll cause havoc.
You know what? I may join you if I
Yeah,
can.
that'd be great. Bring the wives down, have some fun.
Leave the wives home. We
Okay.
can have some fun.
Well, yeah, usually my wife might want to go to this because she liked it when we used to go to the roller derby stuff. But yeah, we'll go down. I mean, I offered to be of service since I did it in the past. But they have somebody, which is fine. And then she said, well, maybe we'll do as a duo. You and I said, that's fine too. Just have them reach out to me and go. I told them I want lineups so that I know the names.
Sure.
'Cause every skater has a nickname. Every skater does. And they're going with little different names because of the theme of the bout on the 15th being Christmas and the holidays and all that. So they're not going by their normal roller derby track names.
Now, this facility that it's going to be held
Yes,
at.
it's a big warehouse.
So it's a big warehouse.
Yep.
We don't know, or you don't know, or I don't know, obviously, how many people attend one of these.
I don't know, but I remember with the Sin City Roller Girls, they used to use the ballrooms at the Rio, and they would pack in a good, I would say, 500-600 people.
Really?
Yeah. Sin City Roller Girls had a good following, and I'll be interested to see how the Atomic Roller Girls do.
We should do merchandise for them, do a nice illustration. And
Trust me when I tell you, Miss Hammer has already checked out the websites, and talks have already begun about that exact topic.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
yeah, absolutely. So maybe that night you come down is probably a good idea to come down with me on the 15th.
Oh, you know me, I always have the pen with me. And
I know you do.
Start doodling.
You might want to just maybe bring some blank sheets of paper rather than napkins, just in case. I'm sure we can get paper there.
Yeah, the napkins don't, the marker, it kind of spreads.
I know, that's why you need
Yeah,
paper.
just, maybe I'll carry this little booklet that fits in my pocket,
That's a small
you know,
carry.
just
They're not that. Keep flipping them over.
flip them over.
Like a policeman's notebook.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a steno book. Like a steno book. It's a little bigger. You can't put it in your pocket, but at least it gives you a little more room to draw and be a little more animated with your subject.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay.
I'm taking mental notes.
That's right. That's my one. It's December 1st, and they came up with my one good idea for the month.
Hey,
I'm
so
done for the rest of
what
the
else
month.
do we have on the agenda? Because you had a piece of paper there and you were going through all these little notes.
No. All I had was the Atomic Roller Girls event, and then that Eileen is coming on tomorrow. Elaine is coming on in our special show tomorrow.
Now, our special show tomorrow, listen, you gave all of the,
Dorothy heard your comment about leaving the wives home, by the way.
what'd she say? She posted
She said she heard that. That's what she's in the chat room. She's
She'll address that later.
That's right.
We'll address that later. Where was I going?
Well, my wife's in the chat room now too. I don't know if she heard the comment or not. She hasn't replied. She's down in Arizona, but I see she's in the chat room.
How long a bus ride is it to Arizona?
Bus ride?
Because it's 3.5 hours to get to Phoenix?
5.
No, it's 5. But
Is it 5,
they're in
really?
Tucson. Yeah, my in-laws are in Tucson. So when we drove it, it's about, I want to say, the way I drove it, probably about 6.5 to 7 hours. But if you take a little longer, it's probably about 8 hours to
See,
Tucson.
I was under the impression, because Dorothy and I went to LA, and it took us 5 hours to get to LA. I thought Phoenix was closer.
Well,
It's not.
no, it's not. But the traffic to get to LA is what sort of distorts the timing to get there. You could probably get to LA, and if traffic were normal, 3.5 to 4 hours, Bob.
4.
Right, about 4 hours.
Oh,
But it's never
okay.
normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I gotta bring up something I heard on, our hearts go out to the people up in Alaska.
Oh yeah,
I did not,
7.9 yesterday.
oh, they had enough, it was
They had
7.0.
They had 2 yesterday. The second one was 7.9.
Wow. I learned that they get more earthquakes than any state in the United States. I didn't know that.
As Ed McMahon would say, I did not know that.
I did not know that. And then
Why
I
is that?
found
Did it
out,
say why?
no, that it's some kind of fault line. Speaking of fault
It's not my
lines,
fault.
it's not my fault either, but that I learned here in Nevada, in Las Vegas, we have the Cashman fault line, and we also have one on Decatur, which is a huge one.
Really? What part of Decatur?
That's what scared me. And I read another article, because I'm into reading all of a sudden, but it talked about
Without pictures?
without pictures, which is very bizarre.
Very rare for you.
And then they talked about all the new businesses coming in the month of December, where Las Vegas has grown in December, and they mentioned the Swedish place over under. Oh, why can't I think of the name of it?
I don't know.
The big place you can buy furniture you put
IKEA.
together.
Oh, IKEA. Ikea, that's on Durango.
Well, but it's not far from where they showed on a map of
Where the fault is?
where the fault line is.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going, okay, I can see all that glassware in there and all the
Right.
stuff flying from the walls.
Well, it's not like any furniture would fall apart. You got to put it together
You gotta put
anyway.
it right, so they saved on that.
Jeez.
But it's amazing to me. I didn't realize that we could at any time here in Las Vegas have a major earthquake.
Absolutely. We get them periodically. I hate to tell you that.
I don't know if you were here yet, but a couple of years ago, there was a minor quake.
Yeah.
And they had to close the on-ramp or the off-ramp from 15 to 95.
That's right. Right around the spaghetti ball, right?
Yeah, the off-ramp was damaged and they had to close it while they repaired it.
Could you imagine that?
It's danged inconvenient to not have that rain.
That's right. And now they're doing construction there yet again. I mean, that would be, God forbid, 1989, the San Francisco earthquake
Right,
during
right.
the World Series, where the
Series,
bridge broke
sure,
in half. That
sure.
would be horrible. But as we bring sunshine and good news to everybody listening, don't worry about the earthquakes, right? Talk about earthquakes. But yeah, Alaska, and a good friend of ours, Scott Hogue, literally just moved up there a couple months ago to be with family. And as he was commenting about the earthquakes, apparently he was nowhere near where the earthquake
It
happened.
was in
So,
Anchorage,
yeah.
right outside of Anchorage.
Yeah, they're not in that part of Alaska apparently, so because they were not affected. So
I wonder if Russia could see the earthquake from, never mind.
only if they're in the voting booths could they see anything.
Yeah, they were worried about a tsunami, maybe Russia got
Yeah, the
that.
tsunami, they did issue a tsunami warning and then they canceled it.
Jeez, crazy stuff. All right, so would you believe we're down to like 10, 12 minutes
It's
left?
crazy how this flies.
So tomorrow, I just want to mention again, we'll be back on doing another podcast right here on Facebook Live, where our guest will be Aline Jacobson. She is a practicing counselor. She's a master level experience in working with physically and mentally challenged, which is perfect for you and I. Hypnotherapist, Reiki, and emotional freedom therapy practitioner. Basically, she's going to help describe to our listeners about stress, what causes it, especially at this time of year, because we know at this time of year, suicide rates go up at this time of year. People's depressions really kick in at this time of year. family loved ones are no longer, all that stuff. So she's going to talk about that, what we can do to buffer ourselves and get through the holidays successfully.
Now, I met her at one of our your networking events that
Yes.
I substituted for you. I was actually Aaron Phillips at the meeting.
By the way, I did introduce myself
I
this
know.
Wednesday, but it didn't go over as well as apparently yours did. It kind of fell flat.
Well, I heard Dorothy told me there was a hesitation, then they laughed.
A little bit. Well, they had to sink in until they got it.
But our guest tomorrow, she could actually hypnotize you.
Why me? Why can't she hypnotize you?
Because, listen,
What would you want her to hypnotize me to do? Bark like a dog or something?
well, we could ask. You never know. But listen, I have too much in my. I don't know. I don't want to know what would come out of my mouth
Exactly.
if I'm hypnotized. That's why when I go to these shows where they have a hypnotist,
Right.
I never
Sit in
sit in the
front.
front row. Never. No, you're not picking on me.
Same way. So yeah, even comic shows sometimes, depending on who it is, I don't sit in the front row because I don't want to be picked on.
Speaking of comic shows,
Yes.
have you seen Carrot Top?
Years ago, right after he got big and buff.
I'm not one to go to comedy shows because comedy is part of what I do with my shtick,
Right.
and I always say, "Geez, I'm funnier than that person." But I went to Carrot Top. First time I'd ever seen him. I've since been back. My face within the first 3 minutes hurt. I was laughing so hard. He does a great show.
Is he still as buff as he was at
Not
one
as
point?
big as he was.
Because we saw him right after he got big and buff.
Yeah.
And a lot of his physical comedy, in my mind, and I'm talking maybe 15 years ago. So this is a lot of his physical comedy was not as funny, so to speak, with him being big and buff because he relied on his facial features and his body movement.
Right.
That used to be when he was thinner.
Yeah, he walks around like
Just-
a doofus, that type of thing.
Doofus. There's a word I haven't
Well,
heard
that's
since
my
then.
cartoon guy I've been doing
I know, that's
since
true.
I was
That is
five.
very
He was
true.
Doofus.
Do you have that? Do you have Doofus posted anywhere for people to see who this is?
No. Usually what I'll do is I'll grab my Sharpie out of my pocket and I'll say, I'm at a restaurant, so I'll say, "Can I give you a little souvenir?" And in 15 seconds I'll get this little cartoon thing done for them, and it's like the mic drop. I drop
Right.
the pen, right? And I pick it up, and they look at me like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Listen, this is Doofus. I've been drawing him since I was 5 years old, and throughout our lives we've all known a Doofus,
Absolutely.
and this is my cartoon character, Doofus."
Well, you broke Doofus out on that Thursday night at the Armed Forces Chamber of Commerce, where I was acknowledged for my induction into the Hall of Fame. And
Listen, there was a whiteboard there
I know
all by itself.
it looked lonely, right? It looked lonely with nothing on it. But what do you recommend for people to? And again, we only have a few minutes left. But when it comes to stress through the holidays, okay, what would you recommend? What do you recommend to others to try to practice so that they survive mentally and socially through the holidays? What would you recommend?
Well, you know what? If you have the opportunity to connect with loved ones, go back into your past, replay positive memories, and breathe. You know what? Count to 100. You know that thing? If you get mad, count to 100. If you're really mad, count to 200. Listen. Every day you get up and you're above ground and you're breathing and you're able to see, smell, and hear, that's a blessing.
Yes.
Because life is way too short. Let's all look, I'm 65 now. When the hell did that happen?
Right.
We're doing high school reunions. I've got my 50th coming up in a few years. 50 years out of high school.
Did they have high school back then?
Thanks, pal.
Did you write on paper and pen, or did you have to?
No, we did
Chisel.
calligraphy, which they have no idea what the hell it is today.
My wife still can do calligraphy.
I can still do calligraphy. I can't
You can
say
say
it.
you need a vowel for that one.
Right,
Can you spell it?
No.
CALLIGRAPHY.
MOUSC.
Exactly. So really connecting with
Friends and family.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good idea.
Listen, nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors. We're all going through some issue in our daily lives where we're fighting depression. Look, I'm an artist. There are entertainers here.
Right.
We don't have that 9-to-5 job.
No.
You're worried if you're going to make enough for the week to pay your bills.
Right.
You're worried that, do I purchase this? Do I wait on that?
And I think that adds to this time of year because people are worried about putting food on the table, yet they want to go out and buy gifts for loved ones.
Sure.
Where's the priority to spend their money? And I think that adds to this.
Well, they get in debt. And then it's like, how am I going to pay my debt? Somebody asked me once, how's your credit? I said, excellent. I owe everybody.
There you go, 100%. By the way, Scott Hogue, the gentleman I just mentioned, he just chimed in from Alaska. He just joined us. Hey, Scotty, Let us know what's going on up in Alaska after the earthquakes. If you can, please just shoot a message in the chat room.
Yeah, and you're gonna get a lot of aftershocks.
Yeah.
Shocks, that's what I was told. And,
Right.
and some of those, like Aaron was just mentioning, one was larger than the initial
Yeah.
quake.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah. So, but yeah, the stress of this time of year is financially motivated a lot of times. Like
Sure.
you said, people bury themselves, and I'm a victim of that. I've buried myself at the holiday time, and that doesn't help. And then you go to the stores after Black Friday, after Thanksgiving on Black Friday and forward, you're standing on lines to get
Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and, a sit down Sunday. Listen, these are all created for retail to generate funds. You've really, my whole life, I've been one who makes a list. Every day I get into the office, I make a list. What do I got to do today? I think it's a tremendous idea that our listeners out there, to relieve some of the stress, make a list. Your pros and your cons and what you want to accomplish, what you want to shoot for the. Pretty soon we're going to be into New Year's, and we got to do New Year's resolutions, which nobody.
Do you make resolutions? That's a great.
I do
great
every
segue.
year. I do every year.
And what do you resolute?
Well, I resolute to try to do things a little differently.
Right.
To be kinder to people, not to get stressed. So let's go backwards with the segue. Lose weight, that's always one. To eat healthier, to start exercising. Look, there's my list again. If I get 10 things on a list and I accomplish 3 of them, I'm in the Hall of Fame, baby. I'm at 300.
Batting 300. I make one resolution every year.
What is it?
Not to make resolutions.
Really? You don't
So
do
far,
it?
I've kept every one of them. Well, I mean, first of all, when you look internally, you pretty much know what you resolved to do each year. Okay, like the things you mentioned: stay healthy, be better than I was last year, things like that. I think the thing, because we should be goal-oriented anyway.
Correct.
In terms of like a to-do list, things we want to accomplish. Isn't that the same thing that we do every day? I mean, think about it. I mean, we resolve to be the best I can be at my job. Okay, I'm going to nail that interview today, or I'm going to make X amount of dollars a month. Don't we generally do that anyway?
I'm not going to make the same mistake I made last year.
Yeah,
I'm more aware of it this year. Listen, I'll say it again, just be kind to people.
Yeah.
The more you give, it's going to come back to you tenfold.
I'm reading a book in this program that I'm going through. I'm reading a series of books called Working the Laws. And we're working on studying the law of forgiveness. And it's quite interesting. The philosophy behind it is more than just saying, okay, I forgive you, but what it does not only for you in relieving that person, for you to release the anger and what you're carrying,
Sure.
as much as it is for that other person that you are relieving of the responsibility, the reason that they hurt you, whatever it is. So I'm actually reading that right now. So it's kind of timely that we're talking about
Does
that.
that talk about, the way you project your words and your tone? You have this understanding of what you said and how you said it. The person that's receiving it may hear it differently. It may hit a nerve that you don't know exists within them.
Right?
So that's why I say these kids today, they mentioned earlier, you do it to me all the time, you text. Well, those are words. Yeah, words are powerful, and I can read the words and understand it, but I don't have the feeling.
You can't express emotion in a text.
Correct. So maybe we should talk to each other more. Maybe that's a resolution. Talk to people more.
There you go.
I don't want to draw more.
You do want to draw more, but you do want to draw more. You want to do a special type of drawing. You want to do the projects, the big commissions.
Well,
you want to do the fundraising efforts.
For a number of years, my large revenue source was doing those quick sketch caricatures at trade shows. I haven't done a lot of those since I moved to Vegas, but I've kind of gone to where I want to go. I want to draw in my gallery. I want the commission work. I can put more into it. It's not that quick sketch, Don Rickles with a pen insult caricature. These are polished pieces. So, I set that as a goal that I want to get back out and have fun.
Okay.
I want to start entertaining.
It's like any business. You go through cycles where your interests are and which direction you want to go. Last Saturday, after you and I did our show, I met my wife and Alyssa over at the Mom Museum. I told you we were going over there.
Sure.
And then from there, we decided to take a stroll up and down Fremont Street. There were at least 3 cartoonists that we saw doing their thing. Quick sketch,
Sure,
10 bucks.
I know who owns that little kiosk.
Well, it's not that these were not just a kiosk. Well, there was the kiosk, but there
Right.
were like 2 or 3 that just set up in that little circle
Oh,
now
really?
where you have to stay
Sure.
stationed now.
Sure.
As I walked by them, we were looking at what the artist was doing, and I wanted to hand each and every one of them one of your cards and said, "Guys, you're wasting your money, even for 50 bucks." But I mean, don't picture what Neil does in those quick sketches, what you see on a boardwalk or walking down Fremont Street. There's no comparison here.
Well, that's one of the drawbacks here in Vegas because they've kind of set the tone,
Right.
the quick sketch.
Expectation.
Right, you know, and look, this is what we get an hour.
Right.
And then when you get a client that's calling, well, how come you so much more? Because if you've driven a Volkswagen your whole life, you don't know what a Mercedes feels like.
Exactly.
Let me explain what I do differently than them.
Exactly. By the way, my friend Scott replied back. They were in Fairbanks, so they were about 400 miles away from Anchorage,
And they felt it.
and they still felt it. But no major damage or anything. But they felt it shook them pretty good up in Fairbanks.
Now, is he up by a fault line up in Fairbanks? Do they have anything up there? You
I
can
don't
ask
know,
him?
Scotty. If you hear that question, do you have any fault lines up there? Let us know. That Fairbanks area. But yeah, so. Yeah, it was just funny as we were walking by, we saw these sketch artists and we're just laughing, saying, really, this is what you guys are spending 15 or 25 bucks on? It's
You
like,
know what I
the heck
usually
out
do
you-
when I walk by them? When I walk by them, I usually say, can I draw you? And they look at
To
me.
the artist or to
Oh,
the
yeah, to
people?
the artist.
Okay.
And they look at me always kind
Right.
of strange, like, and I'm like, no, seriously. Like, you know, give me 5 minutes. One person allowed.
Well, guess what, my friend? We are at the top of the hour.
It's crazy when you're having so much fun. When you look and you go, where the hell did that hour
Is
go?
that crazy stuff or what?
Love it, love it, love it.
So again, I just want to remind everybody to make sure you tune in tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. I don't know the time zones in between, so I'll forget about that. We will have Eileen Jacobson on with us for a very special edition of Twin Brothers from Different Mothers tomorrow here at the gallery. And tune in, because I know she's great at what she does, and she's got a lot of, and she also has a couple of programs that she's working on. One on December 10th and 17th, she has classes, and then she's got a 4-week program starting in January.
And she's a hot shit. I can say that, right?
She's a what?
A hot shit. It's a podcast, so.
Yeah, that's right. No, there's no FCC